Oh my.
Time is often the enemy. It's the one thing that we just can never get back. So if you could pay for more time, would you?
Yeah.
There's a concept rising to prominence called revenge bedtime procrastination. Simply put, it's when you go to sleep later than you should. And you've likely been there before and felt the intense dread as you set your alarm. Your alarm is set for 2 hours and 17 minutes from now. You know that you're the one to blame for this situation, but you did it anyway.
I don't like this video. I feel like I'm being attacked. Yeah, I did this yesterday, and then yesterday I did it yesterday, and then yesterday after yesterday, I did it yesterday after that. Yeah, this is too much.
And it's probably not the first time. What you're trying to do is buy some more time.
Yeah.
Or more accurately, you're borrowing time from your own future, and with heavy interest.
Yes.
To quote Matthew Walker, a leading sleep scientist, the shorter you sleep, the shorter your lifespan.
Short sleep predicts all-cause mortality.
The point is, we all buy time in some form. And we sell it too. The very concept of a job is often described as selling your time to your employer.
Yeah.
Time has always been the only irreplaceable thing we have, so our ancient ancestors invented things like currency to make their time and the output of it tradable. Fast forward to today, and from DoorDash to Uber to Amazon Prime, we go to work to trade our time for money. Then we get home, and we trade some of that money back into time. The specter of the next day looms, the clock ticks, and we all wish we had just a little bit more time.
What I do is, like, at night, I'm like, man, I didn't get enough time to myself. I'm going to stay up late and I want to do this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, I feel like I didn't have enough time to, like, wind down and chill out. So I end up staying up later. And then I'm like, oh, I'll just wake up early. And, like, I literally do that every day. Yeah, it's like, it's not even about, like, being able to sleep. Like, that's part of it. But it's also about just my personality. This video is going really hard, man.
There used to be a sanctuary from this feeling, and that was video games.
Dude, that's exactly it, yeah. It would actually, people that nowadays, they might not even understand this. But back in the day, you could play a video game, and maybe if you're younger, you still feel this way. For me, I don't as much now. You could play a video game for 14 hours in a day, and you would feel like you did something. You would feel fulfilled. You felt like it mattered. Like, you were fucking like, yes, bro. Like, I'm gonna fucking farm this shit. It's gonna be awesome. And I don't know if it's, like, getting older or what, but, like, fuck, it's hard to have that feeling anymore. It is so much harder to have that feeling. I don't know why. I think it's because, like, games are more transient. You don't have, like, the permanence of WoW. It's like whenever you were grinding in WoW and Burning Crusade and Wrath, you never thought about when's the next game coming out. You just play WoW. That's it. So there was, like, never an end in sight. Feel it when you get Gmod? True.
Video games were a reprieve. There was an unspoken pact between game developer and player. The virtual worlds built were an escape. Azeroth never cared that you had instant ramen again tonight.
Nope.
For a modest fee, you could log in and be just as rich or poor in gold, loot, and skill as anyone else.
That's not true. Jeff, fucking my mom would feel sorry for Cody and send Cody gold. And then Jeff, who was on Horde, would get jealous that my mom was giving Cody gold and not him. So she would get on Cody's account and then put up auctions on his Horde account and then buy out his own auctions on, like, the, what was it, on the fucking, the different faction auction house, right? Like the Goblin auction house. So we could take Cody's gold that my mom gave to Cody and give it to himself. And then I confronted Jeff about it. I'm like, why are you doing this? And he's like, it doesn't matter. Your mom will just give him more. Yeah, she'll just give him more gold. It doesn't even matter. And she did. She did. She just kept giving him more money.
There were a handful of MMOs around, and about 20 years of RPGs before them, but WoW just hit differently.
It did.
Azeroth had so many ways for you to spend time and get rewarded for it, mirroring the real world, but on a more enjoyable scale. Amid all the
Yeah.
exploration and adventure, you could even build virtual skills and do virtual work.
I actually think that it's more than that. I think that one thing that people learned in MMOs, I learned a lot of people skills from MMOs. And I don't think that I'm the only one. I think a lot of people did. I learned how to get along with people. I learned how to talk to people. I learned how to deal with people that I don't like. I learned how to be on a team. Yeah, I absolutely did. That explains it. Yeah. I learned more about business and WoW than I did from business school.
Like, spend a few days of your time working on your herbalism or your
man.
alchemy, and then sell the results to somebody for some gold.
Man. Windows
It was
95.
a genuine virtual world with its own economy, isolated from reality. Every player left just as much of their lives at the login screen as they could, and that included their wallet. As long as the barrier between the real and the virtual held up, the World of Warcraft would stay the place to do some satisfying virtual work.
I think that's the thing, is that like a lot of people, especially back then because we were younger, the investment of time was value. It's like if you looked at somebody who had farmed out like the Winter Spring Frost Saber or had like 20,000 achievement points, it was a really big deal, right? But nowadays, it's like, I think it's because a lot of people are older now and they've gone through that. But like it really was really not fair back then either. And I think this is important to keep in mind, is that if it was somebody like me, I could afford to play WoW 15 hours a day. If you have a job and, 3 wives and 9 kids, you're not going to be able to play the game as much. So it was really just a different set of privilege. Does that make sense? But like the different set of privilege was a reprieve from reality. So like it was a massive reprieve because you went and you could now be on the same level of somebody that had a bunch of money or anything like that because you put in more time or you could put in more effort. You see kind of what I'm saying here is that like it was a different level of privilege. It wasn't like an everybody was equal thing because everybody was never equal because people aren't equal. There's a million different things that separate people. A true meritocracy. It is a meritocracy, but it's a meritocracy that's in the context of people that enter it in different, in like different circumstances.
But it just could not last. There was one crucial flaw.
Boostocracy, yeah.
Time is money, friend!
And the more you grow, the more you'll be able to
There it
learn
is.
more of both.
Yep.
If you can combine skills that are not often found together, you'll be superpowered. Skillshare, today's sponsor, is your gateway to this. And the first 1,000
was
to
literally
click my
about to
link
call it.
are going to get a month of Skillshare Premium for free.
Oh
Now,
my
recently
god,
we've
bro,
talked
I
about
was
things
so
like
close to it.
game development skills
Yep.
and the Unity engine. But I want to
Oh
talk
my
about
God.
general productivity.
Of course.
It's a complete superpower. It is a score multiplier over all that you do. Ali Abdal is one of the best examples because he, a fellow World of Warcraft player and self-confessed
My man.
waste man, has managed to grow a wildly successful business here on YouTube and off platform as well. He did so using skills and lessons that he will teach you on Skillshare. Whether you are like
Oh
me,
no, productivity is super important. Like efficiency, like for example, all of my characters are Necrolord because I need to get, it's faster for me to do the Necrolord emissaries if I am Necrolord, so I can turn them in to get eggs to get the Necro rays. So like, yeah, 100% like efficiency, you can work smart and you can save 100 hours, or you can work hard and you can spend an extra 200 hours.
and wanting to do a bit better at work, or perhaps you're a student who wants to nail their exams, Ali has you covered. Especially his Productivity Masterclass. It's one of the all-time greats, straight up. So get access today. The first 1,000 to click my link will get a month of Skillshare Premium for free. Hell, he'll even teach you jazz piano as well.
I actually think that was a really good ad. Like in terms of like selling the product, etc. I think that was very good. There were no like inflections. It was just very direct selling. And like, you know, it's the thing is that a lot of people are very bad at selling their ads. Like they're always very bad at selling sponsors because they don't sell a sponsor with a value. Like, people aren't going to spend money if they're not getting value.
There's a problem with this concept
It's a
of a
very good
virtual
ad.
world. Gold has no direct real-world equivalent, but time does. When you sit down to play, you are turning your real time into virtual time in-game to get virtual progress.
There it is.
In World of Warcraft, everything
1,000
that
days
might
slash
be
played,
called
by the way.
progress is bought with time. Farming gold takes time. Getting a dungeon group together takes a lot of time.
Sure does.
Raids, even more. At the end game,
Long-ass time.
is the only solid barrier to progress thanks to those weekly lockouts.
Yep.
Yes, there are elements of skill, but lots of in-game walls can be climbed if you just had enough time. Even all the way back in vanilla, there were ways to trade gold for more time. Flight paths, mounts, and the incredible player economy filling the auction house with more powerful gear and consumables to make
Well, it's simple, right? You buy things with gold instead of farming them yourself. I mean, that's opportunity cost 101.
leveling and playing just a bit faster to feel more powerful. At least up until the end game, with of course BOP gear keeping things sort of fair. For the most part, if you wanted the best, you had to earn it yourself. Fast forward to today, and in both Classic and Modern WoW, boosting of all kinds has become an extremely prevalent phenomenon. Judgment of the practice and its effects aside, buying boosts is easily the most time-efficient way to play the game. You effectively trade gold for a VIP pass to dungeons and raids. You get to join a skilled and geared group.
What a world.
Whatever you want, with guaranteed frictionless gameplay, a fast clear, lots of XP, whatever gear drops, it can all be yours. Luck, skill, and time no longer matter. What matters is the size of your pouch of gold. And boosting isn't the only prevalent way to spend gold for efficiency. With Classic's return, GDKP runs became a common fixture, more common than they ever were in the past.
I don't know about that. I remember back in Wrath, every fucking raid that we did was GDKP. And like in Cataclysm, I ran GDKPs all the time because we had a weird way of dividing numbers. And the weird way of dividing numbers, it happened that like me and Jeff would just get more gold than everybody else. I don't know how this kept happening, but like, yeah, it was just like the way the numbers come up and then like, you know, the accounting for it and, you know, like, oh, the big item, like, oh, well, we forgot about that. Put that one on the list. So like, yeah, it's like me and Jeff just split the rate. It's whatever. Oops. That's the way it goes. I actually scammed Tally before. It's the first time I was ever on a stream. Split the pot 28 and a half ways. There was only like fucking 20 people in the raid.
In some cases, the majority of
the administration
bugs. And the idea is simple. Players bid against each other with gold for loot drops in a raid. The highest bidder gets the item, and their gold goes into a pot that is then split between everyone else at the end.
In Wrath.
This is generally a group split between two groups. Number one, boosters, who are there to help clear while selling their weekly lockout and boosting.
Oh my god, I forgot that I even did this. I did a GDKP for Nax? Holy shit. Dude, I forgot this even happened. Yeah, I totally forgot. I wonder what happened to all the gold there.
Service, and then of course the buyers.
Part of the problem.
There with the intent.
Oh, I'm a big advocate for GDKP.
Big money, many thousands of gold on the items that drop.
Yeah.
And depending on who you ask, this is either a plague on Classic that has made it pay to play, reducing gearing and raiding to an economic war. Or it's a fantastic way to organize raids that actually benefits everyone involved.
I'm not crazy, am I? Like, I remember this back in Wrath. And Kata? Like, we had GDKPs all the time? Especially Wrath? Like, on KT, we had these every day. People even GDKP'd Vault of Archimon. Do you guys remember Reinhardt, the DK? He used to make PvP videos. He was on Kel'Thuzad. And he was the one that would lead our GDKP raids. It was like every Friday or Saturday or some shit. Reinhardt the Russian, yeah. That was the guy. Like, I even remember the people that I played with. I remember I bought Lord Marigar's fucking Brintroll, the fucking axe. I got it on Heroic for 5,000 gold. Minimum bid.
Boosting, time is traded for gold and vice versa. Not directly, But
was a
the
big
buyer
day.
is paying for a fast raid clear and for a
big boy.
better
Phew.
chance at items that otherwise could take weeks of normal progress with a guild to obtain.
It sure could.
Rather than luck of the dice or invest the time, now the size of your coin purse is the measure of success. Both of these methods are actually sanctioned by Blizzard.
Which is totally fucking fine. The only problem is the fact that you can buy a WoW token. I think, again, the idea that you can GDKP and you can farm gold and use the gold to buy items or get carried is totally fucking okay. I think the idea, I've said this 100 fucking times, it's probably annoying by now that I've said it so many times. The idea of a big fat goblin sitting there smoking a cigar while they're literally being carried on like one of those like Egyptian thrones that are carried by slaves of like raiders taking them through the raid, showering them with gear. I think that is fucking S tier RP and I have nothing against it. I think it's totally fucking okay. Yeah, it's Bobby's third alt. The problem is the WoW token, not the boosts.
And they are the continuation of a trend, gold being used to save time. Except it's now happening in parts of the game that were not originally intended.
Yep.
A cynical viewpoint is that we've moved away from using gold to buy convenience in natural ways like ordering delivery food in real life, to doing something more akin to buying a trophy instead of winning one, devaluing the effort required.
Buying a trophy.
An advocate for boosting and GDKP would argue that this is just economics at play. Gold has value, time has value, and items have value. So, a trade between the three is obvious. It's just a natural evolution of how the virtual world's economy has evolved.
Yeah.
And if Blizzard are okay with it, it must be fine, right? Well, sort of. Trading gold for time is a testament how valuable these virtual economies are.
Blizzard is totally okay with GDKP. The only problem they have is with people buying gold for real money that's not through the WoW token. That's the only problem they really have.
While we all play by the rules, it's a fun little microcosm, but still a game. And this is where the crucial flaw comes in, and the unspoken rule that virtual worlds were an escape, a great equalizer,
here we go,
is completely shattered.
Done.
Gold has value in Azeroth. Money has
That's a big reason why I think people don't like the fucking NFT and pay-to-earn games, too. Is because, like, those games are fundamentally pay-to-win.
Value in the real world, and time has value in both Azeroth and the real world. So trading money, a function of our limited time, for gold, also a function of time, was inevitable.
The secondary market exists. As long as these games are developing economies with robust
Bro,
currency.
like, when did this video come out? Like, fucking 20 years ago? Holy shit.
That they're not selling themselves.
You're going to take advantage of it to monetize it however you can.
If I don't, somebody else will.
Those were the words of Jared Sagoda, the self-proclaimed king of Chinese gold farmers.
There
he claims to have been a key figure in connecting Chinese gold suppliers to the rest of the world's sellers.
Smart.
Dropping the price of gold substantially by relying on cheap foreign labor. Much like with chocolate, coffee, or call centers. He, of course, was making a lot of money for his trouble. And for those exploits, Jared eventually ended up on the Forbes China 30 Under 30, founding the games company that was responsible for League of Angels, and is now the CEO of a blockchain gaming firm.
How could anybody have ever guessed that transition? Wow. A guy that used to sell gold with Chinese gold farmers is now running a blockchain game. How could this have ever been predicted? How could we ever know such a dramatic change of events would occur? Didn't see that one coming.
By the time Wrath of the Lich King was wrapping up, Jared estimated that MMO, real money transactions, was a multi-million-dollar industry, and that 90% of it...
I bet right now, with just MMOs, it's at least 50 million. Probably 50 to 100 million.
...was World of Warcraft. Blizzard were not exactly happy with this, because it risked their players' accounts, made their game unfair, and ultimately went against that unspoken rule. Real money shouldn't be infecting this virtual world, and it was against their terms of service, so they went on a long and intense crusade to protect it, starting by taking out the suppliers.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Blizzard, though, the demand for gold was so strong that the sellers always found a way back in, and it was hurting the game.
Well, it's also because, like, if you remember what it was really like, Blizzard didn't put a lot of investment into doing this. They didn't really, like, remember the people that would die? They would have the characters dead, and it would spell the different website names of, like, the orcs that were in the air. Do you remember that? Yeah, with, like, the letters. Yeah, it was just crazy. Like, I mean, Blizzard wasn't trying to deal with this at all.
Actually estimated that
Those
only
were the good
30%
days, yeah.
of gold is farmed legitimately, while 50% is from botting and 20% is from the seedy side. Account cleaning via phishing and hacking.
Yep.
Fresh accounts bought with stolen credit cards, you name it. So eventually, Blizzard needed another way, and they learned an old adage: if you can't beat him, join him. Like EVE, Guild Wars 2, and EverQuest 2 had done before them. Enter 2015's WoW token.
This was in,
It took the
the WoW token came out in WoD, and it was absolute dog shit. I remember whenever it came out, I was just amazed that it even happened. Discussing token, yeah, it's crazy because it's just, the thing is, like, it's only gotten worse over the years.
multi-million-dollar RMT market and brought most of it in-house, offering a legitimate and risk-free way to trade money for gold. Or, for those with excess gold, to trade gold for a close equivalent to money. Player A gives $20 to Blizzard, Player B gives Player A a few $100,000 gold,
Blizzard's a
and
middleman.
Blizzard gives Player B $14.99 to spend.
Wait, where'd the other $5 go? Hold up. How did $20 turn into 15? Yeah, how'd this happen? What the hell?
At the company store. That's $5.01 of raw profit on every transaction. And the best part, none of that money ever leaves Blizzard's vault. But more importantly, it does mean the time is money paradigm was set in stone.
It was, bro. So, like, a lot of people like to give Blizzard the out on this and say, oh, well, they had to do it because so many people was buying gold. Oh, wow. Well, because, so, let me get this straight. You don't want to moderate your own fucking game, so you just decided that, fuck it. It doesn't matter. Who cares? We're just going to go ahead and let people buy gold. Like, that's it. It's because they didn't want to invest their time and money into it. It made the game worse. It was so stupid, man.
Now, for players in developed countries, going to work is in fact the most efficient way to farm gold, and according to Blizzard, that extends to your progress too, via allowed activities like boosting and everything else that requires gold. This isn't the case officially in Classic, both RMT, we all know what happens.
Well, think about the reason why it happens. The reason why it happens is that one guy sees that somebody RMT'd and they didn't get suspended. Or they RMT 100,000 gold, or like they buy 100,000 gold, and they get suspended for 3 days. Okay. And then they come back and they've got all their money. Like, what the fuck? Of course people are gonna buy gold. It's common sense. Yeah, people almost never get banned for it, yeah.
Token wasn't the first time they monetized their own game's time-gobbling design.
Yeah,
About
the
a year
boosties.
before the token, they introduced paid level boosts.
Just a little
Instead
after
of
that,
players
right?
spending time with
It
boring, repetitive gameplay, they could just pay to reach max level, and pay they did.
There it is.
Power leveling was supposedly taking up 1/3 of the total RMT market, so this was Blizzard's anti-RMT prototype.
Yep.
And despite some pushback, it was ultimately a service players wanted.
Well,
so,
it's of course what people wanted. People want to buy gold. If they didn't want to buy gold, then there would be no reason to even have this video or have this conversation. Why do people want to buy gold? Because a lot of people don't have time, they have money. It's that simple. They have a job, they're making $90,000 a year, $120,000 a year, and they want to go home and just be able to play the game, get the gear, and so they can do what they want. They just buy they buy the gold. That's it. It's that simple. Now, is it stupid? Yeah, it's stupid. Should it happen? No, it shouldn't happen. But that's it. And yeah, one part of the game is not fun. People pay to skip it. No, it's not about that. People will skip any part of the game that they can. It is up to the developer to make it to where you can't do that. People buy story skips for Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy is widely regarded as one of the most well-designed end-game stories.
It stayed. In times gone by, people would talk about somebody being an eBay character, an eBay player. The idea being that they just purchased an account on eBay.
eBay Andes. Like that's what, we had these back in Wrath and like Kata, and you'd always notice them. Like it was obvious. Like some random person transfers to your server and they have like full fucking brutal gladiator gear and their rating is 1600. Yeah, you're an eBay Andy, like 100%. Like this happened all the time. And somebody asked, would I buy gold if I didn't get it traded to me for being a streamer? Well, no, I wouldn't need to. The thing is, like, if I wasn't streaming, I would be able to farm I'd be able to raid, right? And probably do that more, and I would have the gear for it. And you know what I would do? It'd be simple. All I would do is just do boosts. I used to do boosts all the time. Like, I had over 1 million gold in Cataclysm. Yeah, I mean, fuck, like, that's what I used to do. I would just sell N'Zoth boosts, or I guess not N'Zoth anymore. I'd sell Jailer boosts. Like, you would make, dude, Dragon, like, I'll have to bring Dragon. One time, I don't know if Dragon's in chat right now, but, like, Dragon, he's, like, one of the guys in my guild. They would make, like, 3 million gold a day just by doing N'Zoth sales. It was nuts.
Basically sucked at the game. Now that is something that happens on the company's store.
Show proof? I will.
Blizzard, in a way, created the problem, or, alternatively you could say, balanced the game, but they noticed...
They didn't fix the problem, so they made you pay for them to solve it. Yeah, that's what it was. Whenever I do my Cataclysm Story of Asmongold video, you'll see it.
The players were buying other solutions, so they just sold one themselves.
Yep.
But it didn't start there. The Diablo 3 Real Money Auction House from 2012 was their first experiment, and it failed. They made a pretty amateur mistake. Sellers could cash out via PayPal with a 15% fee. Cue a market obliterated by bots farming golden items and a whole segment of players who didn't even bother with the game. They just...
I think that the problem with the Real Money Auction House wasn't actually that. It was the fact that you had the bots. Because, like, people are going to buy and sell things, and I don't think it should be, like... It should be expected that people are going to RMT in every game. They're going to buy gold, they're going to buy items. This is just what's going to happen. Like, you have to expect this is going to happen. The problem is whenever you can expect that's going to happen, and it still doesn't matter. Yeah, it still doesn't matter, because, like, you can just do it and you don't get banned. The problem is there's no accountability for it.
Traded back and forth, or farmed items and gold with bots to earn some real money. The impact this had in the game was not lost on Blizzard either.
No.
This is what Jay Wilson, the director of Diablo 3, told a room full of developers at GDC.
What I want is to kill this guy and have cool stuff drop and get items. But this is actually what happened. So if anyone can't see, it says money, best superpower ever, which I totally agree with because Iron Man's cool. But it's not good for a game like Diablo. It doesn't feel good to get items from money. You want to get items from killing monsters.
Man, how times have changed. Now it's like my favorite fucking late stage gaming capitalism moment is whenever somebody is shamed for not spending enough money on the game. I love that. That's my favorite part of of everything. Yeah, whenever somebody gets shamed for not spending enough money on the game.
Real Money Auction House was unceremoniously closed with Reaper of Souls release, and a lot has changed since then. Yep. Over 8 years later, though, Jay Wilson's warning has, for the most part, fallen on deaf ears. In modern World of Warcraft, Blizzard offer the WoW token, meaning the official stance is time is money, And time is gold, so money is gold. But they don't offer it in Classic, so what's the difference?
There is no difference because you can buy a WoW token and then trade the gold in Classic. Streamers do this on stream. Nobody's ever been actioned for it. Let's be honest. Like, yeah, like back in, the thing is, back in like 2012, whenever Diablo 3 came out, people still did this. People like, I was even thinking about trading gold for like Diablo gold. Actually, did I? I don't remember if I did or not, to be honest with you. But if I found a good price, I would have. I'll tell you that 100%. I would have 100% done it. And yeah, that's because it was just better and more efficient to do that. So it's you can still do it in Classic WoW, and you'll be able to do it in Wrath as well.
Back to that unspoken rule. When World of Warcraft was first created, when virtual worlds were an escape, games were still niche and a lot less profitable as a result. The world felt a lot slower too, which helped us sit down and enjoy the slow-paced reward cycle of farming something out.
Well, you also had like another big factor too, was you had the idea of people that were able to go out, and the demographics for gaming in WoW were much more narrow whenever WoW came out than they are now. Now you have like fucking 80-year-old grandmas playing WoW, and you also have like kids playing WoW, you have like women playing WoW, you have you know, like married people playing WoW. Back in the day, most of the people that played the game were high school and college young guys. It was a general male space, and that's the fact. Now, it's still more like that than not. It's not like there's a 50-50 of male and female, but there are way more women that play the game. There's way more people that are outside of that demographic that play the game. And just what ends up happening over time is that you see the game expands to fill the needs of other types of people besides young guys. That's what happens. Yeah, it's like, also think about it, right? Like if I started playing WoW, you know, back in 2004, and like, let's say I start playing it now, how old would I be then? I'd be like 50 years old or some shit. Or like 47. Like, I mean, if you're 30 and you're 47, that's two different places in your life. Totally different.
Over the years since then, the world underwent massive change,
and so did the
games
players.
Industry with it. What used to be publishers racing to release the best game for a market became giant corporations hell-bent on capturing millions of hours of engagement from global audiences. Then, before anyone realized it, games weren't just competing with games anymore. No, we had truly entered the attention economy. We don't
I really like that. That's very clever. I've never heard that phrase used before, the attention economy. That's very interesting.
Enough time to experience everything there is, so time is in higher demand than ever. Like Netflix said when they were at their height, their toughest competitor was sleep. Social media, YouTube, Activision Blizzard, gambling sites, they all have the same goal: your attention, your time. And they are in an arms race to get it. Now, psychologists and neuroscientists like those at Dopamine Labs are being hired to make everything more addictive, and executives of major companies like Chamath Palihapitiya, ex-VP of user growth at Facebook, are publicly confessing their guilt over...
Well, it's not about guilt. The thing is, a lot of the people that do this stuff, they don't view it as being guilty. They're not seeing this as like, oh, well, this is bad. This is just their job. You know, like, I have plenty of people that, like, yeah, this is their job. It's not even illegal. Look, I have plenty of people, it's like, listen, I'm a businessman, and usually my business is selling drugs. But I am a businessman. Now, I do things that are a little bit, outside of the normal scope, but they're effectively just businessmen. That's all there is to it. Yeah, that's what they do.
The chain reaction they started.
Pharmaceuticals.
This hyperspeed version of reality that we now live in has inflated the value of time, so we are less likely to sit down for a few hours and enjoy a slow adventure when we need to progress and...
Those are the youngest WoW players. And also, I think that's very true. Like, how many of you guys nowadays, you need like 2 different types of stimulation to like be on the computer, right? Like you can't just play a game. You have to be playing a game and also watching a stream. Maybe this is what you're doing right now with me. Or like you're watching Netflix or something like that. 2 monitors. Yeah, you got 2 monitors. I've got 3. Look at this. There's that monitor. There is this monitor with them. And then there is you guys. There's you guys right there. I've got 3 fucking monitors, man. And so, yeah, I think that it becomes like, when am I going to need my 4th monitor? You know what I mean? Like, when are you going to need 2 computers to keep up with how fucking neurotic your brain has been turned into?
Experience faster.
It's a lot.
Even modern WoW has been designed to reward you harder and faster than ever before. World quests are bite-sized quests made for rapid engagement, and Mythic Plus dungeons are an infinite slot machine lever to pull. Getting a mount is no longer a slow burn affair with a reputation and a meaningful...
Bellular. That shit was always RNG. That shit was always RNG. Like, it was RNG ever since the fucking right off the rip. Now, there were always some mounts that you could farm. But there are many other mounts that you just had to fucking sit there like, bro, Ashes of Alar. Fucking, like, Strathlone mount. Yeah, there's another one. Now, you do have the Winter Spring Frost Saber, but that was a cock, so nobody did it. And, yeah, mounts have always been a fucking... they've always been like that.
Quest, narrative, context. Most of them now are random rewards for pulling some form of lever. A rare kill, a Paragon box, it's all the same.
Yeah.
The result is just number go up. The developers are looking at statistics, analyzed by the same sorts of people who analyze metrics for Facebook, for Twitter, for Netflix, and for the entire field of user engagement that optimizes for the same thing. It's not your satisfaction.
I think that it's important to remember with all this stuff that these things are designed intentionally to be addictive, to be psychologically addictive. It's not like, I mean, doing heroin or something like that, but these are psychologically addictive intentionally.
Action. Not how much fun you have. Not how happy you are.
No.
Those are very hard to put into numbers. Don't
Fun
think
is
about
for
how you
casuals.
feel. Analyze what you do. They optimize for time, daily active users, monthly active users, session length. Your worth reduced to a number, time. It's the only...
Well, it's like if you can keep people watching something or playing something for longer, there's going to be a higher rate of making money off of them. It's very simple. It's like if do you want to go to a fucking lake where there's 10 fish or 100? Well, you want to go to the lake where there's 100 fish, all other things considered equal. It's common sense. It's a watching stream, yeah.
Resource you have, and they measure every second
Is
of
it depressing and nihilistic?
And
I
now
don't
that
think
those
so.
who drive the economy have learned
And if
how
it was,
to hold
that's-
your time
that's why I like it
hostage,
so much.
they are turning that time into money.
Time, money, you get the drift.
Lost Ark might be the best example of the changing tide. In 2022, a PC MMO releases with a clear design that tells the player to their face they can spend money to spend less time playing, and it's met as a game with resounding praise.
He's right. He is absolutely fucking right. True and real.
After players breeze through the story content, the item level wall shows up and tells players to log in and complete dailies and weeklies on as many alts as possible to get materials to gamble in the honing system to advance. Except, those materials, they can be sold on the player auction house using a currency that you can buy with real money. And a few steps to disguise it. To Smilegate, your money is just as good as your time, and the more...
And the fact is, like, Lost Ark is a good game. Like, I do think that Lost Ark is genuinely a good game. I think that that's what's so frustrating for a lot of people, is that there are people that don't like the way Lost Ark's played, right? Like, you just don't like the isometric view. You don't like some other stuff, right? I'm not saying, like, everybody thinks it's great. But, like, I think the general sentiment with Lost Ark is that the people that were criticizing it said, the main thing they said was, I like the game, I just wish it wasn't pay to win. I wish you couldn't spend money in the game.
that other players spend their time, the more you feel the value of spending your money.
Yep.
Blizzard proved themselves guilty of the exact same thing with Diablo Immortal. It uses almost every trick in the dark grimoire of mobile gaming to funnel users into paying real money to save real-world time. Progress
we know all
faster,
about this.
get stronger, all with effectively no limit unless you're a multi-millionaire. Do you spend your time by completing the chores or your money by skipping?
I find it really funny because, like, you see all the time, like, every time one of these games come out, you always see people that are spending tons of money, like streamers, and it's not like just... It's not like just me whenever I was doing it or like anybody else. Like, this just happens all the time. It's nuts. Bellular whaling, yeah.
But the problem that gave birth to Diablo Immortal is just an attitude. The time and money are interchangeable when playing games.
They are.
And that attitude has long infected WoW. Classic was supposed to be a throwback to the good old days, back when there felt like there was more time, and for many it was. But it has not been immune to today's time is money gaming problem. Cue rampant boosting and GD.
Every time, bro. Like, every time. Listen, it's like, look who it is. Look who's part of the problem. Look at it. Oh, there he is. Here he is again, ruining video games. I can't believe it. Yeah, it's nuts. Listen, I have always been ruining video games. It's not new. The face of boosting, listen, if there wasn't a meta of giving streamers gold, I would be boosting like crazy. I would be coming up with like these like different scam giveaway things that I could do for my viewers to get them to give me gold. I'd be doing this all the time. I hate Asmongold for ruining my favorite activity.
All
I did
fueled
this
by RMT. It is insane in Classic TBC. Classic has also been fighting off plagues of bots, farming
level
gold,
60
inflating
hassle-free
the economy, and the result is more RMT. The players with the biggest bank accounts now have the biggest pouches of gold, and that means...
And the players have chosen this. This is one important factor that Bellular is not talking about. The players chose this goal. They chose this reality. It's not like, oh, why Blizzard do this to me? No, players are opting into this. Actual real people. You, me, all of us, we're the problem. We are the problem. Now, Blizzard can solve the problem, and they should, but don't ever forget where it comes from. Yeah, not me, I quit. Oh, true, yeah, smart. But yeah, look at Classic WoW, for example. Everybody was just buying boosts. Nobody was even playing the game. They were just buying boosts.
The fastest, they can bid in the most gear, they can progress. And the more people are doing that, the fewer groups there are doing it the old-fashioned way.
Yep.
The more people get into the boosting economy in Modern, the less people are just chilling, trying to form a good old-fashioned puck.
To be fair, Blizzard shut down those communities. That was a good decision that Blizzard made. I remember all the drama that came out of it. It was fucking hilarious.
In Modern WoW, boosting is rampant because by design, players feel the constant pressure of time, the consistent ticking of the daily and weekly clock, the rat race for gear, and they know they can swipe to make all the anxiety go away. In a world where Blizzard have done a poor job of teaching people how to play their game, yet have put high-level play at the core of progression, content can be frustrating, so why not buy that VIP pass? Blizzard know this too. That's why the WoW token exists. It exists because time is money. And it's going to get worse.
There it is, my man. My man, you know that. You fucking know that shit. It's gonna get so much worse. I'm excited. Like, I'm so excited to see how dumb this is gonna be and how crazy it's gonna be. Like, and I'm not excited. I'm excited in like a... like, excited to see a crash in NASCAR kind of way. Like, I want to see the train wreck because I'm just curious to see how bad it's going to get. Yeah, I want to see what's going to happen. It'll be exciting.
This is where the script has actually ended. And it's where I'm going to leave you with a warning A warning for the future of gaming, one that we should all be rather afraid of. Play to earn is one of the latest buzzwords. It's mostly there in and around crypto gaming.
Yes.
But there is an example of this that happened entirely within the Battle.net ecosystem. A player with an extreme amount of World of Warcraft gold was able to take their WoW gold, turn it into Battle.net balance, and then buy a hell of a lot of power in Diablo Immortal.
That's right. That's absolutely fucking right. And that's exactly what I just said earlier with Diablo 3. People were able to do this. I think that, we should just, again, I have thought about trying to, I've thought about this, right? Is that these games are so bad. I've thought about really sitting down and trying to make my own version of Diablo Immortal and make it even more manipulative and predatory, and then do all of it under an alter ego and promote this game, and then simultaneously complain and bring attention to it on my stream. But people would think that oh wow, it's this terrible game, but it was actually me doing it the whole time. I feel like this is what I have. It's this is what I have to do because nobody's listening. Nobody is listening to me. It's so bad. When's Lion Ted coming to Allcraft? I don't know. Yeah, do it with anime girls? Of course we have it with anime girls. Because you have to, in my opinion, you have to take it to such an extreme that it is irrefutable, that it's ruining people's lives, that it's horrible, it's predatory, it's disgusting, and everybody has to see it. Because until that happens, people are just going to pretend like it's not there. That's the truth. When are you going to scam us like you promised us last week? It's coming. Don't worry about it.
This is worrying. This is what they want with Play to Earn. They want to turn it all into a time is money economy. And if that catches on, virtual worlds...
Well, no, it's not that complicated. It's because they want to create a world in which people that have money are able to be incentivized to exist inside of the world, because if they do that, then they're going to be able to make money off of those people. You can make a lot of money off an oil prince. You can't make a whole lot of money off a broke college freshman. That's the reason. It's not complicated.
Will never be the same again. They will never be the retreat that we all adored in times gone by. By now you've probably worked out that today's video was a little bit different from what we
I love these videos. Make more of these.
To be honest, I'd really like to continue making videos like this.
This is so good.
We have a few things planned on the very earliest days of Blizzard Entertainment, back when they weren't called Blizzard. Things that led to this franchise's existence. There's just so many stories that we want to tell that don't really work in the way that we normally do videos. They're not a Warcraft news video, they're not a lore video. So I appreciate you watching this far.
I love
something
it.
That's a bit new.
I think this is so good.
Or perhaps any stories that you think you'd like us to look into kind of deeply on the game's long history, well, do let me know. I'd love to see what we can do.
This is so good,
And of course, if you want to support the sponsor, that very much did make today's video possible and makes
That's an awesome video.
possible.
Yeah, I know.
Of course, that is Skillshare. I thank them for their support. You can check out Ali's incredible stuff in those links down below. So that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.
Damn, the Cult of a Dead MMO. It probably got lost. Interesting video. I might look at that. There was actually something about the Riot MMO that I was going to watch today as well. Remember you could buy the Guardian Cups through the shop and sell them on the auction house in Cataclysm? Yes, I do know that. People forgot. I didn't. So yeah, I think this video is great. I feel like the more awareness, there will reach a critical mass, and I hope that the next massively exploitative pay-to-win game is treated the same as Diablo Immortal. I'm thinking about what I wanted to do is interview whales that were in these games and show how they've just ruined their life or something like that over it, and show what it's like, because I think that people don't really understand until they actually get to hear it and see it, right? They haven't, though. There are a lot. For every Mega Shield and every Rich Campbell and Shroud, there's 100 Terrys that spent fucking $5,000 out of their savings to get a 5-star gem, and they didn't even get a 4-star. So I don't think that's the case. I feel like, yes, this is true to an extent, but it's not always true. And that's kind of the way that I look at it. But I think this is a good video. I'll read a few of the comments here real quick, and then I'll move on to the next one, okay? And give me a second. I'm a philosophy student. I played WoW for many years. These topics don't let me sleep. Keep up this line of content. Yeah, I love them, man. This is a really important high-level look at how our modern society interfaces with entertainment. Well done. I missed never getting a unique mount. Felt like an accomplishment. Now nearly all of the achievable mounts are uninspired palette swaps unless you take a trip to the store. True. Very true. Real life has become an escape from virtual worlds. If gaming continues in this direction, I feel like my life is going to take a 180 where I'll be escaping back into the real world. I'm really tired of people's shitty Twitter opinions and feeling like I have a scammer trying to scam me, selling me things around every conceivable corner. We actually have this problem. Like, dude, scamming now is just so, it's just like so prevalent. Everybody is getting scammed. Like, we have to go and delete and ban accounts on my Twitter account, or on my, not Twitter, on my YouTube account, because they keep DMing people telling them that they've won cryptocurrency. It's awful. Touching grass. Yeah, they're trying to escape back into reality. Reality's even worse, okay? Let's be honest. Well, let's see here. You guys are doing an amazing job holding companies accountable. We need voices like yours in the gaming industry. I cannot disagree with you enough, Anthony. Nobody cares about this video except for people that already think that it's bad. Nobody is going, like this, like these videos have been being made for fucking 10 years, 20 years. Nothing's happened. It's because nobody gives a fuck about it until it's actually against the law. Nobody, like, what do you think these companies go, oh, wow, this video got a lot of views. It's got 35,000 likes. Shut down the money machine. Shut it down. They're making too many YouTube videos. No, they're not going to give a fuck. They're not going to care. It's only going to matter whenever things actually get removed. They get changed. That's it. Yeah, Anthony is totally wrong. But let's see here. Best memories. I think the corruption of paying to bypass gameplay can be reversed, but it will take a decision for companies to willingly earn less money than they usually do. So it's highly unlikely that it will happen. Here, I'll rephrase that. No, it's not going to happen. I kind of hate the people obsessed with nostalgia, since I've always thought there's people afraid of moving on, but this video brings a whole new perspective into it. Yes, people are nostalgic for a time whenever their time was currency and they had a lot of currency. I think that's fundamentally what it is. Because like nowadays, like if I see something that somebody farmed for like fucking months, like I'm going to get my golden Turpion today in Lost Ark. It's really cool. I'm going to get that, right? It's fucking awesome. But all I did was just, I just spent a lot of time doing it. This was not a test of skill. This was not like, I just did it. You know, like I did it. I got it. Today's the day I get it. It's going to be awesome. But it's nothing that I hold in like particularly high prestige. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's at least the way that I see it. And where is this? Dedication now? Yeah, sure.